Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the first ever DQ movie review. Today we're going to be talking about 1993 The Leprechaun, starring Jennifer Aniston and Warwick Davis. Let's get into it, guys. So we're going to start off each of these reviews by me giving you a little personal insight on my personal history with these movies. So for instance, today, I've watched this movie many times in the past. I've watched it for a long time, but say it's a movie that I'm going to be reviewing that I've never seen before. I just want to let you guys know kind of a little bit of my mindset and understanding of the movie from how I see it going into it. So today, 1993's The Leprechaun. Like I said, I've watched this movie many times over a long period of time. Over 20 years I've been watching this movie. First time I seen it, I was, I want to say about 4 years old. I remember running into Blockbuster. My mom used to take me there every Friday to go rent movies. I used to run to the horror section almost every time, rent all the Freddy movies, all the Jason movies. And then I remember one week I was looking for something different, and then I remember seeing The Leprechaun, the cover art, and I was like, whoa. I was just blown away. And I ran to my mom, I was like, Mom, gotta get this. So I watched it, and to be honest with you guys, I loved it. As a little kid, 4 or 5 years old, I absolutely loved The Leprechaun. So much so that I remember taking the VHS copy that we got from Blockbuster to my dad's house in New Bedford to show all my cousins on my dad's side. And that was a big deal back then, because if one of those VHSs went missing, or if you didn't return it in time, you got fined a shitload of money from Blockbuster. So, that was kind of like a big deal for my mom to let me bring the version from Blockbuster over to my dad's house, show all my cousins, but they had to see it. They had to see what I had just witnessed, because that's how much I love this movie. So now that I've given you guys a little bit of insight to my personal backstory with this movie, I'm going to read the back of the DVD cover, the description, to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what actually happens in the movie. But I really don't want to spend the length of my videos going into this happened, and breaking down the plot. I kind of just want to do more of like raw reactions, and more opinions of what it is that I feel about the movies. So let's read the back of this DVD cover. A horrific leprechaun, played by Warwick Davis, goes on a rampage after his precious bag of gold coins is stolen. He uses all of his magical destructive powers to trick, terrorize, and kill anyone who is unlucky enough to hinder his relentless search. In a frantic attempt to survive the wrath of the leprechaun, Tori, played by Jennifer Aniston, and her friends, friends, that's funny, scramble to find their only weapon known to kill this Irish monster, ... a four-leaf clover. However, until they discover a four-leaf clover, or return all the gold taken from the rainbow's end, their fairy tale nightmare has only just begun. Dun 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 dun. So, like I said, guys, I've watched this movie many times, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn the camera off, I'm going to watch The Leprechaun, and then I'm going to come back right after watching it with a raw reaction for you guys to see if it really holds up, or if I was just, my 4-year-old self was, 4 and stupid. Alright, see you later, guys. So, just got done rewatching The Leprechaun for the 100th millionth time in my life, and to be honest with you guys, it does not hold up. It does not hold up. I definitely had a bigger spot in my heart for this movie at a young age, and I could see why. It's definitely kind of catered more towards a young audience. I mean, it's still horror, but it's definitely more of a horror comedy than a straight up horror. I mean, not to go too much into the details of the film, but I'm pretty sure only a couple people die, which I know for horror movies that's not the main standard is not the death count. But for me as a horror fan, I like to see a few deaths you know, meaning more than two, happen in a horror movie. But again, this is kind of more lighthearted. There's a lot of stupid slapstick type stuff, one-liners, dumb jokes.
My ear! He got my ear!
Hey, chill!
Having problems? Do you need a hand? No!
One of my favorite parts, well, two of my favorite parts. One of them being he plays pogo on the shopkeeper's chest, who has one of his gold coins, and sings a nice little merry tune as he's doing it.
This old Lep, he played one. He played pogo on his lump. Teach you to steal me gold.
My other favorite part is after he kills the guy at the shop, he goes back to the house and he's searching for his gold. Those two silly parts in the movie definitely represent the overall mood of the film. There's also a few parts where he transitions his means of transportation multiple times, from like a little tricycle with a little bell, ding 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 ding, to stupid little go-kart, that makeshift go-kart that he makes in the shed.
A ring around a rosy, a bucket full of posy.
One of my least favorite parts of the Leprechaun has to be that not really too much happens over its runtime. We do get a pretty decent setup that doesn't take too long, maybe like 10 minutes or so, with the O'Grady's, finding out exactly who the Leprechaun is or what the Leprechaun is. That basically he'll stop at nothing to get his gold by having Mr. O'Grady steal the gold, go home, and then the Leprechaun follows him from Ireland to America to get his gold back. Thought it was a pretty good setup, but then once we get the actual story, you know, 10 years later, and then here we go, this is what's actually going to happen in the film. Not too much happens, guys. You know, it takes a little while for the Leprechaun to even be revealed to the group as a whole. He shows himself early on to Ozzy, but the whole thing about Ozzy's character in the film is that he's a storyteller. Always talks about UFOs and magic and this and that.
The Leprechaun is attacking. Army, Navy, guns, Marines.
Hey, Sheriff, just got a call from Ozzy. He says the Leprechaun is attacking. What was it last week? It was UFOs? No, it was Bigfoot.
So of course we get like you know, a Child's Play Andy Barclay type situation where it's like, oh, it's just his imagination is just running wild. You know what I mean? There's reasonable explanations to explain what's going on, like you know, Jennifer Aniston's leg gets scratched by the Leprechaun while he's hiding under a truck. There's oh, it's just a cat.
It was a cat.
That's probably one of the creepiest parts of the movie. Like, meaning the Leprechaun imitating people and doing those little fucking voice things that he does.
Did you hide it somewhere near the house? Hello, Dan. I'm okay. I just got a little kink in my neck.
Please let me out. Please. Why won't you let me out of the script?
But yeah, the movie itself, you know, not really too much happens. You know, they find the gold. Ozzy and Alex find the gold. Ozzy eats a piece, which of course, you know, oh, key that in for later. If that's not some fucking foreshadowing, then you weren't paying attention in middle school English class. But, you know, other than that, it takes so long for the Leprechaun to actually be revealed to the group that at that point, you literally just kind of get some, like, Three Stooges slapstick comedy of, like, oh my god, it's a leprechaun. Oh, beat him, beat him, beat him. Okay, fuck. That wasn't a leprechaun. They still deny it, too. That's probably, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I'm changing my answer. That's my least favorite thing about the Leprechaun, is Tori's character refusing to believe that it's a leprechaun up until she literally flat out asks the leprechaun, what the fuck are you? Watch this.
Oh my God! Ozzy, call the police! Call the police! God, Nathan, that was no fucking bear.
It is not a leprechaun, damn it! Ozzy, now, I admit I don't know what the hell that thing was, but it is not a leprechaun.
What the hell are you?
I'm a leprechaun, me dear.
Like, did you think? Did you really fucking think? Anyways, that was my least favorite part of the Leprechaun, is the fact that, you know, especially watching it, to kind of react to it, to review it, you know, I was sitting there with my notepad ready, kind of waiting. There wasn't a lot of build up and release. There was no tension to speak of. It was kind of more, you know, what you would expect to see in the last, you know, the last 15 minutes of a generic 80s slasher, where it's a cat and mouse chase. But if any slasher movie, horror movie has done good up to that point of the climax, there'll be a lot of build up to release that tension in the climax. Whereas in the Leprechaun, there's almost no build up right from the get-go. It's literally just, like I said, it's almost like the whole rest of the runtime, the whole, like 90% of the runtime, 80% of it is just what you would expect to see at the end of like any other horror movie. So, and Tori's little bubble there, that was annoying too. But anyways, let's get to the verdict. So, what's the verdict on the Leprechaun?
A leprechaun. That's a good one.
It's alright. If you have some young kids that really want to get into horror, especially now that it's around the Halloween season, you know, people want to show their kids shit, get them into the tradition of being a horror fanatic. I think this is a good place to start, because even though I did have nightmares of the Leprechaun when I was a kid, it was more just Warwick Davis as a leprechaun himself. He's a creepy little shit, and I think the fact that he's small, when you're like, if you're a little kid, you know, he's kind of more around your height, it's definitely a little more intimidating. Well, like I said, there's not too many kills, there's not too much gore, there's not too much even tension build-up. You know, I feel like as a little kid who watched a lot of horror movies, that was like the most scary parts, was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like the jumps, you know what I mean? That doesn't really happen too much in this movie. It's like I said before, it's a lot more lighthearted. There's definitely more comedic elements to it. Very silly. I was quoting the movie when I was 4 or 5 years old. It was definitely one of my most favorite quotable movies. Like,
Tell me, or I'll bite your ear off, and I'll make a boot out of it. It's not nice to make fun of a leprechaun. We're cooking now, kids. It's not nice to steal gold coins from a leprechaun. Bad shop owner. Bad shop owner.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
I think it is a good place to start. If you, like I said, if you have a little kid that can wants to get into horror, maybe show them this. But you know, if you're an adult, if you're a matured person, or even someone who's, you know, watched a lot of horror in their life, you know, by the time I was 12, I already seen fucking hundreds of horror movies. If you're someone like that, you know, and you've never seen this movie, I mean, unless you really like cheesy films, which I happen to enjoy too, I think this definitely helped influence that. But if you're someone who, you know, kind of likes movies that are so bad they're good, then maybe check it out. But if you're a serious horror person who wants to find some thrills this Halloween season and, you know, get scared a little bit, this movie ain't gonna do that. No. Well, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you all so much for watching this DQ movie reviews. Make sure to smash that like button and give me a subscription if you want to watch more content, and I will see you all next time.